up, swashbucklers? You're listening to Under the Crossbones, episode number 120. My name is Phil Johnson. I'm your host for the show. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for telling your friends. Thank you for posting and commenting and reviewing and all that kind of good stuff, because it's you that helps me keep the ship afloat. If you're new to the show, here's what we do. We talk about pirates with piratey people. And if you want to, I don't talk about this on the show much, but here's the way I describe it to the guests when I'm telling them what the show's going to be and their interview is going to be about. I tell them that it's a behind the eye patch look at the people in the pirate community. It's so cheesy, but it helps me explain it. So that's what we're doing here. We're talking to pirate people. And today on the show, my guest is Bullet Valmont of the Wench Whisperer and Imagine Pirates. And he and I got together while I was in Los Angeles recently and talked in a lovely back patio of a bar that is apparently haunted and all that kind of good Los Angeles stuff. And unfortunately, there was some music playing in the background, so you're going to hear faint music behind us talking. It's okay. We make it work. It's not that bad. But so he'll be coming up. He's a pirate advice columnist. That's what the Wench Whisperer is. And he also has a performance group called Imagine Pirates. And so we're going to dig into all that and his time in Hollywood, the highs and lows. And man, does he have some highs and lows about his Hollywood experience, both as a pirate and as a regular actor type person. So great interview. That is coming up in a few moments. Episode 120. Fun fact about the number 120. 120 inches. That is the height of a regulation NBA basketball hoop. So there you go. So you got to be able to reach. You got to be able to do the sky hook, do the Jordan, get it up there in the thing, in the basketball hoopy deal. It sounds like I've never played basketball before, and I actually have. Actually, in junior high, that was the height of my sporting career was in middle school. I was actually a pretty good basketball player because I was too short to get near the net, so I became really good at three-pointers. And I was just about to go out and try out for the basketball team. This is never before happened in my life. I was not a sports kid, but I found a niche that worked. And just as I was going to go out and try out for the basketball team, I had some hip pain. I went to the doctor. He said, you have flat feet, you have bad knees and bad hips, no sports for you. And I was like, all right, well, back to music then. And that was the end of my basketball career right there in the 7th grade. So who knew? Another fun fact about the number 120, sidebar, because this is the one I originally thought of, without even doing my research, but I did some research just to check. 120 beats per minute, which has for years been the most popular tempo for pop music in general. 120 beats a minute. It's right there, and just get you dancing, whatever. Well, I went to go check my own work on the web, and it turns out, over the last 5 years or so, pop music has slowed down a whole bunch. Yeah, the average tempo now, 90 beats per minute, which is entirely too slow for me, and because I like the fast stuff. But anyway, yeah, apparently pop music, which used to always beat 120, is now down to about 90 beats per minute on average. So weird. They don't really know why, except for people who are maybe just getting tired of it, or they just don't feel like listening to fast music right now, whatever it is. So how was your week? My week was special. It was good. I got all my Christmas shopping done. I'm done. I did it all online. I didn't set foot in a store. I get it. I'm part of the problem. I'm putting businesses out of business by doing that. But it was so great to not have to go to a mall to get my Christmas shopping done. Got it all done online. I did it all in like 2 or 3 orders and just clicked, boom, send, order, whatever, and it's coming, and I will be done. I got one more thing to buy for my girlfriend, and then that's it. I'm going to be done. So we spent the weekend in Ukiah. If you've been listening over the last couple of weeks, one of my tour dates was in Ukiah over the weekend. My girlfriend never goes on the road with me, but I had a nice hotel for this one, and so we went out there, and I thought, we'll just go up there. We'll go to the show. We'll go drive around in some redwoods. We'll have something to eat, and then we'll come home. So just a quick, weekend on the road kind of thing. And so we drove up there Saturday afternoon, checked into the hotel. Hotel was good, except for a barking dog next door. Don't take your pets to hotels. Just don't, because even if you like the dog, and we like dogs, we love dogs, but not barking next door to our hotel room. And so we ended up switching rooms. We didn't get a balcony in the second room, but, not a big deal. The balcony was overlooking a Verizon store, so no big miss there. So we went and did the show. The show was, It was a bar gig type of thing. Nice bar. They got bands and stuff that play there and whatever. But the people at the bar did not shut up for the entire show. They yacked through the entire show. The people down front had a good time, but it was just a very loud environment. So it was tricky. I think it was only the second time they've done comedy there. So they're working through their growing pains of how to do comedy in that room. Other than that, it's a nice room. The people that liked the show. They were great. It was fantastic, but it was a loud environment to do comedy in, which is always a little bit tricky. I blew my voice out. It's still a little rough today, but we made it through. My favorite part of the evening was when one of the other comics, Josh Argyle, who was very, very funny, he walked by me, and we were watching the guy just struggle on stage. One of the openers just trying to pound through his set and yell over the audience, and Josh turns to me and he goes, "We chose this on purpose for our lives." that just made me laugh, because we do question our choices some nights, but it was okay. It was a work-a-day gig, and we made it through. It was good. I do have tour dates coming up this weekend. December 8th, I'll be at the Courtyard in Andover, Minnesota. December 9th, I'll be at the VIP Pizza in Superior, Wisconsin. December 15th, back here on the West Coast, I'll be at Howden, that's Comedy Oakland, in Oakland, California. And December 20th, I will be popping into Cobb's Comedy in San Francisco for a quickie little guest set. There might be some more stuff coming up, but that's what I've got on the calendar right now. The place in Ukiah, my girlfriend went with me, right? And like I said, she doesn't usually come with me. They were comping the comics dinner, but she was with me, so I said, I'll just pay for her dinner. That's great. And she was very nice. She was trying to go cheap because the place was a little bit on the pricey side. So she got a Caesar salad with some shrimp on it. And we both looked at the menu, and it looked like it said Caesar salad, shrimp, $8. We were like, okay, perfectly reasonable. That's fine. And then the bill came, and it turned out the shrimp, just the shrimp, was $8. The Caesar salad was $12. And this was a few leaves of romaine lettuce, some Caesar dressing. I could count the croutons on one hand, and they put some shrimp on. Just the salad was $12, and it was hardly a salad. And the shrimp, she said, were obviously frozen Costco shrimp. So we batted a zero on that one. And so I ended up paying it with tax and tip and everything. It was like $24 for this ridiculous salad. I had a chicken sandwich that was pretty good, and I didn't have to pay for it. So it all kind of balances out. That's how it works. We're going to get to this interview with Bull of Valmont here coming up in a second. If you are enjoying the show, come join us over on Facebook, facebook.com/underthecrossbones. If you want to help the show, the best thing you can do is put up a nice post for all your friends on Facebook and say, hey, this is a really great show about pirates. If you too like pirates, you should go check out Under the Crossbones. That would be wonderful of you. That would be, if you want to give me a Christmas present, that's what you do. We're over on Twitter, twitter.com/undercrossbones. No the in that one. And of course, make sure that you're subscribed through whatever form you like to subscribe through podcasts, whether Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Slacker or Spotify. Yeah, we're on Spotify now. Finally, that was the last outlet I didn't have yet. And now we are on Spotify. So anywhere where you can get podcasts, you can get Under the Crossbones. Make sure you're subscribed, and that will get you the new episodes bright and early every Tuesday morning. They actually come out at Tuesday night, midnight, East Coast time. So if you're up at like 1 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday morning, you can listen to it before everybody else does, and you will be in the know. You'll hear it before I do, practically. If you would like to help support the show, that would be awesome of you. I've gotten some donations recently. Thank you very much to everybody that's donated. Go to the support page, underthecrossbones.com/support. And there's a little PayPal box there that you can put a nice little, just whatever amount of money you feel is appropriate in there, and that's good. There's an Amazon banner. If you're still doing your Christmas shopping, go over to the support page, click that Amazon banner, buy all your Christmas gifts, and then Amazon kicks me back a few pennies, and that is a big help to the show very much. And if you want to be a sponsor of the show, if you would like to advertise on the show, you can do that. Just go to underthecrossbones.com/support, and you can hook up with me there. Speaking of sponsors, TeePublic. Yeah, we love TeePublic because they work with independent artists on awesome t-shirt designs. And so when you go buy a t-shirt from there through one of my links, they pay the artist nicely, they pay me nicely, and that helps everybody keep going. And that makes you a patron of the arts. You want to be a patron of the arts, right? Everybody would like to be a patron of the arts. This is your opportunity, and all you have to do is buy a t-shirt that you're going to love. See, I personally curated like over 100, seriously, no joke, over 100 really cool pirate t-shirts. There's funny ones, there's sexy ones, there's scary ones, there's some Disney Pirates of the Caribbean referencey ones, there's some Black Sailsy referencey ones. There's all sorts of great stuff in there. So here's what you do. You go to underthecrossbones.com/shirt. That's underthecrossbones.com/shirt, and you can see the collection of pirate t-shirts that I've curated for you, and you pick them up there. They have sales sometimes, like $14 shirts and things like that. They're really inexpensive, and you help the show, and you help the artists that designed them, and then you are a patron of the arts, which everybody should be, I think. So that's great. All right, we're going to get to my interview right now with Bullet Valmont of the Wench Whisperer and Imagine Pirates. I will now take you to a dark and haunted bar in Los Angeles with my discussion with Bullet Valmont. Here we go. Now, is Bullet your given name?
Well, there's two stories about how I got the name, and one of them's really good, and one of them's true.
Okay.
So I'll tell you the good one.
Yeah, give me the good one. Yeah.
All right. So, my father, Hugo Valmont.
Okay.
Now, have you seen Ringling Brothers Circus when you were a kid?
Sure.
Okay. Remember the end of the circus? They wheeled out this gigantic cannon.
Yes.
And they shot a man from the cannon.
Yes.
Across and he landed in a net on the other side of the arena.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So that was my dad.
All right.
That was Hugo Valmont.
Nice.
So when my mom was knocked up with me in the circus, people were saying, I wonder if he's going to be a cannonball too. And then I was born and I was a little kid. And said, are you going to be a cannonball, aren't you? But right now you're just a little bullet. And but I've pretty much been making that joke to my parents before I was even spawned.
Okay.
So I had the name before birth.
Funny.
Yeah, I just made that up. I used to, when I was auditioning as a youngster.
It's a good story, though. It's a good story. What's the real story?
Who cares? No, when I was auditioning, though, for TV and stuff when I was younger, I would... I realized soon, because I would get that question, how'd you get your name?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to tell them the true story, so I said, this is an opportunity to,
create a mythology.
To entertain them so that they have affection for me.
Sure, yeah.
And want to hire me. So I came up with that, and I would elaborate on it depending on the reaction of the casting director. I would say, oh, my God. So did you grow up in the circus? And I'd have to improvise on this. Well, no, when I was like 14, we had to leave because my dad got injured, horribly injured. And they'd, no, like in one of those cannon stunts? Like, no, we actually had to bug out of a town really quickly, and he like shoveled too much camel dung over the night and threw out his back, and then he couldn't do the cannonball. And so I usually blamed it on elephant crap or a camel crap. And they were like, oh, ha, ha, ha.
That's great. No. So you have many, many projects. Let's talk about the Wench Whisperer, which is a pirate advice column, which is awesome. Tell me what that is all about.
Okay. So people basically write asking me questions about why they have so many problems, and I tell them and make enemies every single time.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently. But yeah, Wench Whisperer, the character is... he's not so much a pirate as a highwayman. If you've seen the iconic Wench Whisperer image.
Sure. So what we're looking at here is the masked highwayman whispering into said wench's ear, and who knows what he's whispering, right?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it works. It works because.
How long have you been doing it for?
A little over 10 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I started out, I intended to do greeting cards.
Okay.
So I got the trademark originally for Wench Whisperer to make these greeting cards with this character, the highwayman.
Right.
And then they would be body characters, body little painting, and then inside it would say something like G marks the spot, Or it would be like two people, the highwayman shagging a girl on a dinghy next to a big ship, and he would say, welcome to the Sea Level Club.
Okay.
It would be little things like that.
Yeah.
And the artist who I worked with, Nikki Carey, who drew most of everything cool and artistic, I would give her a really crappy drawing, and she would turn it into this.
Nice.
She had to leave town, and then she couldn't do all the greeting cards. So I thought, well, I want to do something with this, and I was writing for Pirates Magazine at the time. And I said, I can do an advice column, but I had another friend writing, and she was doing an advice column. And then she changed the format of her column. So I thought, now I can do my advice column for Pirates Magazine. I'd been doing.
Hey, you're not going to use that anymore? Can I do it?
Yeah. So I said, I'm going to do the love advice thing. And, well, the publishers of Pirates Magazine were not pirates.
Okay.
They were primarily, they had another magazine called Fairy Magazine.
Okay, gotcha.
So the Pirates Magazine had some really cool pirates, like Klaus and Matt Stegman were on the board there. But the publishers weren't. They weren't pirates, and they didn't get my humor. They had me censor one of my other other articles I'd written, and they were really nervous about. I interviewed Errol Flynn's daughter for them, and she had some tales to tell, and they didn't want all of her tales, as entertaining as I found them to be. So I pitched Wench Whisperer, and they were. No, thanks. That led to, Pirates Magazine stopped publishing at some point, and about 2 years later, a lot of the ex-writers got together and we started Mutiny Magazine.
Yeah.
Talderoy and Leichenhunt and myself.
The elusive Talderoy.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get him on the show for like a year and a half now. He keeps referring me to other people. I'll get him.
So I can blame him for why you're talking to me, I'm sure. So Talderoy called me up and said, Bullet, man, you've got to write for us. And I'm like, I don't know, man. And he's like, we're calling it Mutiny. And he was originally going to call it Buccaneer Magazine, and that seemed really limiting.
Sure,
to a certain little segment of pirates.
The historical accuratists, that would be limiting, yeah.
So then he had a brilliant flash of inspiration, Mutiny, and we announced it with a round robin. And I said, and I had to describe what a round robin was, which was a bunch of names written in a circle. With a declaration of we were going to commit mutiny, and this is our declaration of rebellion. And Lycan and Talderoy thought that was a fantastic idea. So he printed up something with all our names signed in a circle, and then he asked me to describe the round robin. And I went home for a week. I came back for our next mutiny meeting. They had run with this round robin idea, so they had created a robin flag with a bird in it and everything.
Okay.
And I said, Bullet, man, write out a description of what the round robin is. So that's what you see on like page 3 of every Mutiny Magazine issue, is that description of what the round robin is. And he said, it's a grown-up magazine. We can have titties in this. We can have anything we want. And you can say what you want. And I wasn't like interested in vulgarity. I didn't need to say F this, as that, or anything.
Sure.
I wanted to just write about subjects which pirates wasn't comfortable with, especially body subjects, humor.
Right.
And so I said, all right, I'll do 2. And I wrote a long story of Lolanes, the pirate.
Okay.
Which I meticulously researched, and our software didn't work, so paragraphs were missing.
Oh, yikes.
From my article in the first issue. I was so embarrassed by it. But we learned out how everything worked, so the next issue was smooth. But I also put in Wench Whisperer, and I got so much mail from people concerning Wench Whisperer that it was the funniest thing they'd read, and blah, blah, blah. Like, swing, man. I was so happy. So
have you had a favorite entry in the Wench Whisperer that you're pretty proud of?
This ain't my favorite. It's just one that's popping up as I'm looking through it on a phone. This fellow that cheated on his girlfriend, and he's like couple of weeks ago, I was drunk. I cheated on my girlfriend. She usually forgives me when I do this, but this time she hasn't. I don't know what her problem is. All I want is for her not to be pissed at me anymore. And I'm out of ideas. Will you please help me here? Cheated and sorry. So I wrote him back, no. And it was the easiest column I'd ever gotten to do. Here's Lonely Man, Dear Wench Whisperer, my problem is I can't find a girlfriend. Women don't appreciate me. They use me and exploit me. They manipulate me and then give me nothing in return for my troubles. No matter how many favors I do for them, how much money I spend on them, I don't get anything for it. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, piss and moan. It happens to me every time with all women. I make a good living. I drive a nice car. But that's not enough for them. What do they want anyway? Why are all women so superficial? Even the ugly ones are superficial. Why can't they appreciate what I do for them? Don't I deserve something for the efforts I make? And he writes lonely, and it's not my fault. And this is so... The lack of self-awareness in some of these fellows who write to me is what's really fun. So I told him, look, dig me a grave so I can roll over in it. And I feel like I just read a chapter of the Mangina monologues, and for that reason, I must have revenge. Anyway, I basically tell him the reason his girlfriend is cold and to him is, she wants him to break up with her, but he's a pathetic little crap who she knows is going to stalk him and blah, blah. And, I just give him that advice.
Nice.
To basically, don't go out with women, buy a magazine, stay home. And I see a lot of online pornography in your future.
So when you start an advice column like this, how did you get your initial questions? I've always wondered that. How does an advice column start? Did you have to make up the first few to get it rolling, and then
no? A few of my friends knew I was working on it, so I had a few of them hey, write me questions that you have about women, or or questions. You can say a friend of mine is like this. You can write it in the form of your friend's problem. And, that sure disinhibited the. Got me in a few letters, but I had but currently I'm doing the book version, which is kind of assembling the whole philosophy of Wench Whisperer, and I generally just answer letters from men. So with the book, I'm going both ways, and I'm having it out with women too.
Nice.
And
that should be interesting.
One of the things people criticize me for is I tell people to break up about probably 2/3 of the time, because I don't think either one of you is fit for human consumption. Nobody deserves you. You don't even deserve each other.
So then the book is going to be material from the website plus new stuff then?
I'm hoping primarily new stuff.
Okay.
Maybe a few greatest hits from the letters,
Gotcha.
or maybe using a letter to start out a chapter. The hard part was finding a format for the book, so I thought I would describe. It's basically like what a man will do to make a woman fall in love with him, and what he will do accidentally to make a woman fall in love with him. And then it's like, why is this insane woman in love with me?
Right.
And I realized at a young age that the best way to make a woman fall in love with you is just to shut the hell up and let her talk for an hour. And you can grunt and give signs that you're listening, but that's all you have to do. And then after the end of the hour, it's like, you're the only person who's ever understood me. and easy.
Yeah.
But men try to impress women, so they talk about themselves and how great they are, and it doesn't work because women aren't interested in you. They're interested in them.
Sure, yeah.
And a measure of, the amount a woman laughs at your jokes, that is not a measurement of how funny you are. That's a measurement of how much affection she has for you.
My girlfriend doesn't laugh at any of my jokes.
Right.
She does once in a while, but she just knows I'm trying new material on her. So she goes, just stop trying material on me. All right, just go to an open mic.
My girlfriend says that to me in bed. Stop trying the new stuff. Yeah.
So then when you put the book out, are you going to go the self-publishing route? Or are you going to go with a publisher? Or what are you thinking about?
I'm talking to actually Chum Bucket there. Who's,
Okay.
You know him.
Yeah.
And he writes a great blog on writing.
Yeah.
I think it's called The Right Pirate. But he changes the name of the blog, so I never know what it's called from time to. He had like Island time.
It's good marketing.
Every time
all the time.
every time he relocates, he changes the name of his blog. And he was writing from the island, and then he moved to New Orleans. Anyway, I'm talking with those two guys, and I see Slappy every couple of years, and I'm kind of picking their knowledge for what I can do, and maybe they can pitch me to their publisher.
Certainly, yeah. They've got some knowledge behind them.
I realized
that's for sure.
the things I wanted to do in my book were have the illustrations, get the little cartoons, get the big illustrations, things. Get the little stabs and just make it more interesting than just straight text in a single format.
Nice.
I wanted to really make it a fun book that you could pick up for a minute or a whole day and read it in one sitting.
That sounds like it'll be really fun. That sounds pretty cool. So outside of the book, you're a pirate performer. You do lots of different things. Tell me about, you were rehearsing earlier today with your group. Tell me a little bit about the group.
Okay, the new group... it's odd. I had been in Brethren of the Coast for when I was about 20-something years ago. And from that, I started a group called Revenge. From that, I started a group called Revenge from the Sea because after Revenge broke up badly, I said, we never could get Revenge.com anyway. All we could get was RevengeFromTheSea.com.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll just call the group Revenge from the Sea. And I did the pirate cruises.
Okay.
Every year we would charter a ship, take everybody out. They had to dress as pirates, do a show on the ship.
Okay.
All the rum you can drink. And, fire the cannons, raise the sails, get crap-faced, and do a really gory, bloody Monty Python type of pirate show. And those were very popular. But coming back to land, I wanted to get into legitimate show business and other performing pirates. They just wanted to do fairs and things like. People don't even like us at fairs until they started doing pirate fairs. About,
right. Yeah.
That
whole
ago.
situation has changed.
Then that's changed now. But I didn't like the fairs. I didn't like the. I don't know. I just somehow they irritate me. And so I wanted to do legitimate theater. I mean, on a big stage with a big audience.
Right.
And we got the opportunity to do a live show at the Orpheum Theater in downtown LA with the Robert Israel Orchestra, 20-piece live orchestra.
Okay.
In the pit in front of the stage.
Okay.
And this was to open the restored version of Douglas Fairbanks' The Black Pirate.
Oh.
So they wanted a big swashbuckling show.
Okay.
So a fellow named Stanley Sheff was directing it, and he had a bunch of actors. He had some good singers doing songs, but he didn't have a sword fight. He had foils.
Okay.
And he had these flimsy foils. That just looked terrible. He had actors who didn't know how to sword fight. So he called in 4 of us to come in and, will you guys do a sword fight? And, close this live show with some big bang. And I got my girlfriend at the time, Severine, and one of the other girls in Brethren of the Coast, and I got B.J. Barry, who was a child actor. He was in Author with Al Pacino, and he started in Broadway from the age of 6 to the age of 9 in something called Really Rosie, and he's a fantastic actor. And we were the Alley Gang in The Mask. Okay. And so Jim Carrey made us balloons, and then yeah. And then he gave me a giraffe. Get out of here, son! You bother me. Yeah. That was me. And then B.J. Barry, Wolf, as we called him as a pirate, he got the French poodle. Sorry, son. The dog was rabid. Had to put her down. So that's where I met him. Okay. And I told him about I just joined this pirate group, and I'm thinking about doing these pirate shows. And the group basically now just wants to sit around and get drunk and say, "Aye, matey." But I think we have these great costumes. I want to do shows. Yeah. And it's like, it's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. I'm in. I'll do it. So I get this fantastic actor, and then I get Severine, who was in Brethren of the Coast, and she was trained in London. with like directors from the Royal Shakespeare Company. So
Oh, wow.
Good. And I was tired of making movies. You just get to where if I have to hear, sit in a boring ass set list listening to movie talk for one more minute, I can't stand it. And all I wanted to do is like, okay, between action and cut, glory, and then everything else the rest of the day, which is 95% of the day, is insufferable.
It's a lot of hurry up and wait.
And dropping everything in my life and running to auditions across town was terrible, and I'd always hated it. And I got signed. I was homeless for like a whole summer. I got an apartment, and then an agent discovered me, and I was able to pay my rent with my first acting role. She had me going out, and I went from like homeless guy sleeping in an all-night laundromat to being on a major TV series in a 7-week period.
Wow. What was the TV series?
It was called TV 101.
Okay.
And it ran for a season and a half. It had Alex Desire, Matthew LeBlanc was in it. He became big. And Stacey Dash was in it.
Okay.
So they went on to bigger things. I think they're the only ones that
but they're
did.
not pirates.
Yeah, but they didn't go into piracy. So, yeah. I quit everything, every little hustle I had for money when I started auditioning. And then, but I didn't have a car. I soon was months behind on my rent. Because that first TV part paid my rent for a month. And then I had nothing, and I didn't get another part for 5 months. So by that time, I was months behind in the rent, dodging the landlord. And when my agent would call me, she'd think, "Hey, can you be in Santa Monica in 30 minutes? You have an audition for this." And like, I'll be there. Confidently, hang up the phone and say, "Oh crap! What am I going to do? I don't have a car. I don't know what I'm." And just panic, and it was constant stress like that.
Yeah.
And then, I lost my apartment. I was out in the streets again. I was terrified my agent would find out. And I had an agent, and a personal manager, and a commercial agent. So 2 agents and a personal manager.
Yeah.
And they would have lost complete faith in me if they even found out I did not have a car, much less that I was living on the streets.
Right.
So I just had to BS them, everything's fine, and then panic, and how am I going to do this?
Right.
I remember one day I slept in another of those all-night laundromats on by Sunset and La Brea, and I had an audition for a national commercial. That, at 10 in the morning, so I got kicked out. The manager showed up at 6 a.m. to the laundromat, kicked me out. I walked to the La Brea tar pits, slept 2 more hours on one of those stone benches by the tar pit. Walked to a gas station that used to be at 6th and Fairfax, washed up as best I could, washed my shirt in the sink, and walked to the audition, which was about a half mile from there, my shirt drying on the way. And then trying to look fresh and seeing that I'm auditioning against some guy who slept in a bed, has clean clothes, drove an air-conditioned car to this audition. But I have to act like I'm on the same level as this. And like I couldn't bring it all the time. And sometimes I could, but most of the time it was... and when you're young, you're angry about that sort of thing. Rather than feeling, I'm so lucky. How many homeless people have, 2 agents and a personal manager? Instead of like looking at life as a mature person would have, I was like, the playing field's not level well for me. So I had this building anger in me, and when I did have some good paying parts, but nothing that really put me over the top of anything until Mask, where I made enough money that I didn't have financial worries anymore.
So the Mask was the turnaround point that kind of got you on solid ground again?
No, I mean, it was like after about 3 years, I met a girl on a movie set. We did a movie called Class of Newcomb High 2, and I moved in with her. And so I wasn't on the streets anymore. And I'd been like, I could get like someone who would let me sleep on their couch for a month at a time for a few $100s and that. But I never had anything that wasn't about to end. So I moved in with her. That was kind of the turning point. And then I had a really good year. I did like 4 movies in 1990. I did a major commercial with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I starred in a short film on cable for the Playboy Channel. Had their own network on cable. And I got to star in one of their little like erotic Twilight Zone shows.
Nice.
And really did well, but didn't get rich.
Yeah.
Just got comparatively rich. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially with the commercial work. I mean, that was back when they were paying more royalties on commercial work. Because I remember my brother did a MasterCard commercial that he lived on for about a year and a half, just on the payments on that. But those end eventually.
Yeah, I got. We filmed. This was for Reebok. It was a PSA for the President's Council on Physical Fitness.
Okay.
For Reebok, and President Bush the first had just appointed Arnold Schwarzenegger to head the President's Council on Fitness.
Right.
So it was that, but sponsored by Reebok. So Schwarzenegger was the substitute gym teacher.
Okay.
Coming in, and we're like, someone comes in and says, teacher won't be here today, and we're like playing dice in the gym room, we're smoking cigarettes, and he says, there will be a substitute.
Okay.
And I'm like, sink this sub.
Yeah.
And we're all laughing. Oh, we're going to destroy this substitute. And then you hear the door slam, and you just see Arnold Schwarzenegger's big muscular legs from the waist down. Like Godzilla stomping
Right.
with his Reeboks on.
Yeah.
And then we're like, cut to our faces, oh crap. And
Right.
he makes us work out and blah, blah. And he says, no, I want you to keep exercising and be good because I'll be back.
The whole Arnold Schwarzenegger thing.
Yeah. And he was the biggest star in the world. That was right after Kindergarten Cop and before Terminator 2. So he was the biggest
Prime
thing.
Arnold.
So, but he didn't want the thing shown.
Yeah.
So they said, well, he changed his mind.
Huh.
So we're like, oh man, I told all my friends I'm in this thing. At
Right.
least I saved a call sheet so people can see I was actually in it.
Sure.
But I was, you learn that lesson early. Don't tell all your friends that you're in something.
Right, yeah.
Because you're going to get cut out.
Yeah.
So the point being that paid my rent, the holding fee. 'Cause
Right.
They kept thinking he would change his mind.
Oh, okay.
So every third month I got a check for that.
Nice.
Which paid my rent every third month
Okay.
for like 3 years.
Uh-huh.
But it never aired, so I never had one of those big get-rich commercials.
Right.
So
Interesting.
it was all the struggle until Mask.
Yeah. And
But-
so at what point do you then... Are you doing pirate stuff at that time? Are you interested in pirates at that time?
Okay,
Or was that...
So I lose everything again for the dozenth time in my life. But I know people now. I've been around a while and I've done stuff, and people think of me as somebody like an actor, as opposed to some homeless guy who wants to sleep on my couch.
Right, yeah.
So I have some gravitas. So my friend Debbie Severine, her pirate name, invites me to sleep on her couch.
Okay.
And she's in this pirate troop, Brethren of the Coast. And she invites me to join them. And I'm like, I don't know. But I like the subject matter of pirates. And I meet them. And then I see, the first thing I think is I want to make a performance troupe out of these guys. Because they have these cool costumes and they're just wasting them.
So at the time, they were just a
they were
pirate social group, for lack of a better term? Or
No, I mean, they did whale watch cruises where they would take a ship out.
Okay.
And Oberon, the captain of Brethren, he invented the whole pirate scene in Southern California. He'd be a good interview for you.
Yes, absolutely.
He did the whale watch cruise where they would go out and, just a bunch of guys dressed as pirates and get drunk at sea.
Right.
And watch the whales. And they did do an occasional show. And he had written a show, and it wasn't working, so I kind of stepped in as director, and I added a few little lines here and there to connect the thing, and it turned out to be really popular.
Okay. And
I said, well, I want to write one now, and I wrote a show starring Severine, and then I got Wolf from Mask to be in it. And so I was a brand new pirate when I met Wolf on the Mask.
Okay.
And he was so intrigued to go see what this was. He was a big fat guy.
Okay.
If you remember the movie, he's just this big fat guy. He lost 140 something pounds in the 1 year just by giving up cheeseburgers, walking an hour a day, and being a pirate because he wanted to fit in as a sword fighter.
Okay.
So we put together this double cutlass sword fight. Nobody was doing the double cutlass before. We've got a bunch of people copying us today, but nobody had done it till then. We each had two swords. And
double cutlass meaning one in each hand.
Yeah, one in each hand. So we spent a day out on the public street, being periodically harassed by the LAPD for playing with swords in the middle of the street.
Right.
Worked that out, figured that out, and that's what we did at the Orpheum Theater.
Huh.
So Oberon got us in Brethren. He got us like the opening for Cutthroat Island.
Okay.
And so he did do great things. Redondo Beach Pier opening. We did the Olympic torch ran through L.A. We made a little tunnel of swords for it.
Okay.
So Brethren was good, but I just had a little different vision. So I took off on my own with Revenge, and I wanted to do a show on the ship. But we had a ship called Pilgrim of Newport, too small to do a show on.
Okay.
So we were like huddled in the aft of the ship in one corner trying to perform, and people were just crowded up trying to hear what was going on. We did a voyage on Errol Flynn's birthday, so we got his daughter Rory to come join us.
Neat.
And we passed Pirates Cove where they filmed the Captain Blood duel.
Okay.
And everybody dumped a tankard of rum into the ocean for Errol. And that was a good little pirate moment.
Yeah, neat.
Shortly after that, I broke up with my primary partner in Revenge and on really bad terms. And I'm not going to shovel the bilge about it. But he went off saying I've started this whole thing. And okay, so I've done 6 cruises since then, and you've done none.
Yeah.
Who is really running things?
Yeah, it's the same horse manure we go through in bands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. It was like a bad band. It was like Slash and Axel,
Right.
kind of thing. So I started Revenge from the Sea, as I told you, because we had the .com for Revenge from the Sea.
Sure.
So I changed the name, changed the flag to that demonic flag.
Horn skull, 2 swords. I like it.
I found a bigger ship called the American Pride.
Okay.
Gigantic compared to the Pilgrim of Newport. Big middle deck, and the captain, his name was Greg Clinton.
Okay.
Fantastic guy. Just gave me absolute full reign to do what I wanted because he just loved having a bunch of pirates. He takes groups of tourists out and Boy Scout troops and stuff, and then now he's got a bunch of drunk pirates doing a blood-curdling show on his ship, and he really loved it, and he was so cool. He died about a year ago, and it was a heartbreaking thing just as I'm planning another pirate cruise on his ship. So rest in peace, man. He's a great guy. Anyway, so the first cruise, I realized something. The guy I just split up with in Revenge played the captain, and every time there was a guy portraying the pirate captain, it went to his big stinking head. He thought he really was the captain. I'm like, no, there's me, you, and there's Lazarus, and there's 3 of us in the group, and we run the group. You just play the captain.
Right.
No, he started acting like he was the captain. He ran the show. And so I said, I don't want that in Revenge from the Sea. I don't want a captain who's going to be a problem. But I wanted a captain.
Right.
So I came up with Captain Nicholas Lords.
Okay.
The only survivor of Execution Dock.
Okay.
And my character, Solomon Crow, was this heretic priest who's either a holy man trying to deliver us from sin and evil, or he's just this insane guy leading us off to sail over the edge of the earth into hell's great realm. It's never clear. I never made it clear.
Nice.
But I was like the captain's chosen vessel while the captain was ill. Okay. And periodically people would say, the captain is dead, the captain is dead. And I would have to prove he's not by bringing him up on the... I was like, he's in his cabin, he's not feeling well since, he was injured, escaping from the fortress, and he had to have his body amputated from the neck down.
Okay.
He's just waiting till he recovers. So we brought up this severed head, and I made the Ark of the Captaincy, which is basically a contraption of a few chains and some triangular-shaped pieces of wood.
Okay.
This old rusty chains and the head in there. And the first head I used was a head from the X-Files. My friend Nikki, who did the Wench Whisperer painting, she was a special effects artist on Buffy and X-Files. And
neat.
So her boss, John Bullock, loaned me a severed head that was... if you watch an X-Files episode where they're on an abandoned freighter at sea and they're looking for any signs of life aboard, and Scully kicks something, she shines her flashlight down, and it's a severed head. She says, I think I just found the captain. So that's the head I used originally.
And it was the captain.
Yeah, so that's the head I used for the first cruise. And then the next cruise, the storyline would take up a year later, where the previous cruise left off, that's where we take up. So Nikki made me a brand new skull, life size, which most skulls are just like 3/4 life, but she had a real life size. Well, and she used her own hair. I mean, it's the only one that has ears. Like, people don't think when they put skin and rotting skin to put ears on it.
Yeah.
It's got ears. It's
crazy.
Gruesome ass teeth, and it's brilliant. Put that in the Ark of the Captaincy, and that's been our captain from then on. And if anyone declares him dead, I just call them heretic, you know.
Yeah.
The fire is your destiny for speaking such blasphemy. Severine, her character was this voodooine who was the only person who could hear the captain's voice.
Okay.
Because she would go, oh, and she'd go into a trance, and he would speak to her. And she would convey his orders to me, and I would convey them to the crew.
Okay.
So we had that. And then Disney had a damn voodooine in one of their pirate movies. We were so pissed because they took it from us. Also, on the first cruise, I cut Jerry Reyes' tongue out because he had proclaimed the captain was dead.
Okay.
So I cut out his tongue, and I held up his severed tongue. And I said, no, swallow the lies you spoke as well the tongue that spoke them. And I forced him to eat his own severed tongue.
Jeez.
Then a year later, he goes to the Caribbean and makes the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And in that movie, he's standing next to a guy with a severed tongue. And I said, he better not have told them about our cruise. I was so angry, like we had a spy on her. So when he shot the third Pirates movie, he was gone. And to explain his absence, I showed that the crew had resorted to cannibalism because we hadn't seen land in years.
Right.
And Jerry's character was Francisco. I said, if not for Francisco, we would have all starved long ago.
So how often do you do the cruises?
So I did them pretty consistently, almost every year or every 2 years.
Okay.
For about a 10-year period.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a troupe that was performing frequently around town and stuff. And
what kind of context would those performances take place in?
Those would be, we played we would play the Pachanga Casino.
Okay.
We sold that out.
I just played there recently.
We sold out the ballroom, and they decorated it all pirate for us.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty cool. We did the Key Club, Sunset Boulevard.
Nice.
On a Saturday night.
Nice.
So I wrote a blog post about that on pirateenvy.com. And I wanted to play where the rock bands play. I wanted to have that kind of rock star sort of lifestyle to the pirate troupe.
So in that kind of context where you're playing the Key Club or Pachanga Casino or something like that, you're doing a similar show to what you were doing on the ships? It's got a plot, it's got blood, it's got gore, it's got acting in it.
It's got a plot, it's got blood, and but you can do bigger sword fights on land than you can on the ship. You're trying to dodge the yard arm, and you don't have that much space, and you have to not kill anyone in the crowd watching. And
they don't tend to give you a good Yelp review when you do that.
A small amount of deck space and big puddles of blood you're going to slip on. So I always had other elements in the tortures and floggings, and we had the Rosary of Pain in one cruise where the guys I did pop out, and I held it up for everyone to see, and we made a big joke about it. Well, the eyes have it. Everyone made their little eye joke.
Yeah.
So we did something with a little more clear, linear, simpler plot.
Okay.
Because people weren't familiar with the characters. I did it thinking everyone's seeing us for the first time. They don't know who we are. They don't know the backstory for what there is of a backstory. So
it's an odd kind of show, because when you think about something, if you're going to the Key Club, you're going to see a band. If you're going to Pachanga, you're going to see a band or a comic or something. And a pirate show is an odd sort of entertainment to put in those places. Did people come in kind of knowing what to expect, or did they come in going, we have no idea what this is going to be, but we're taking a winger on it?
Usually bands, we played on the same bill with bands, so there would be bands.
Interesting.
And I always had a musical element to the shows.
Okay.
There was a band called the Doxy Chicks, and their fiddler was Deanna Rice, and she would do a musical soundtrack to my cruises.
Okay.
That means if I said heretic, she would accentuate that with her fiddle, dun, 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 and it would go back and forth, and she would play bellicose music for the fights. And
that's great.
And on the third cruise, I got killed. And as I'm dying, she's playing. And I'm like, can you play a more solemn dirge, please? I'm dying here. And then she would change it. And so she was really great at putting the music to the show.
Oh, that's
so there
neat.
was a musical element. And the most recent cruise, we had the Pirates Charles on.
Okay.
And I didn't just use them for the music, though. I got Spoo into the show as a character. And I got Deedle, and he wrote a theme song for me.
Okay.
And it's not on their albums yet, but I'm hoping they'll put it on. And it's basically, like, take that fucking sword and lay him out. And it was really great. And at one point in the fight, I'm losing a fight to a chick.
Okay.
And I'm like, I demand my right to a musical soundtrack. And Spoo's like, what? There's no. I'm like, it's Article 69. He's like, fuck me, it is here. And he's reading the articles to people. It's a big parchment of Matt Lorschen paper. Every pirate has the right to a musical soundtrack in the event of a sword fight and or death. And so I jump up, and Deedle starts playing, take that fucking sword. And, and I do this big fight, and then she still wins. And she disarms me, and she's got her sword up to my neck, and he says, my rock has failed you. And it's got a great laugh. So I always try to cram a musical element in. So not so much that we fit in with the bands, but I just think it's important for the theatricality.
Sure.
Of
Yeah.
the show.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're just a bunch of loud voices.
Yeah.
shouting.
What do the other bands think of it? Do the other bands know what's coming? Because for a band, that's a hard act to follow. I
remember we
I know certainly as a comic I wouldn't want to follow that, but I mean even for a band that's a tough act to follow. So are they aware of what they're getting into?
I don't think so. We did play BB Kings with Jamie Lane of Warrant was there, and the Hell's Bells, the all girl AC/DC band, and they played with us, and we did the rehearsal of this magnificent sword fight. And then the bands came in and did their sound checks. And then when the came time to go on, there was suddenly all this musical equipment on the stage.
Oh, that'll mess you up.
And we thought, well, we can jump this and that amplifier. But now suddenly there were like 30 amplifiers on the stage.
Yeah.
And the little open space in front of the stage, we didn't think it would sell out.
Right.
Crowded with people. So it was like probably one of the few times I had to abort a fight in mid show, and then try to wing it with witty pirate banter from that point on.
Interesting. So, with a project like that, what does your long-term vision look like for that? Where would you like it to go? What would success look like?
Okay, well, my new troupe, and I did take about 6 years off.
Okay.
Where I didn't do a pirate cruise, and all I did was I kept my hand in the pirate world by just writing for Pirates Magazine and then Mutiny Magazine. And so now I've spent about 4 years putting together a new troupe.
Okay.
What I wanted most for the new troupe was a consistency of appearance.
Sure.
Because you look at some groups and they look like they don't belong together because every member makes their own costume, their own look.
Yeah.
I wanted a group that looked like they belonged together. So I had my friend Jim Carrey made all the costumes for it.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no individualism,
Right.
There's no rampant narcissistic individualism in everybody's costume. You don't have like the Christmas tree pirates with 10,000 pins on their hat.
Right.
You don't have the Jimmy Buffett beaded pirates, and you don't have the fat alcoholic pirates. They wanted like a lively group, not so much a young, vital group. I just wanted a group that looked like they could cut your damn head off if you pissed them off.
Yeah, so this postcard
kind of
I'm looking at definitely is a very unified look. A lot of sort of dirty earth tone kind of things, and it looks like because I mean in real life, chances are they would have been very mismatched on a crew on a ship. But for something like this, where there's a branding effort, you want that. You don't want
having stolen clothing,
and
such. They would be mixed matched, but they would still be from the same world. It's like if you look at Cutthroat Island and you compare it to Captain Blood.
Yeah.
Same time period.
Right.
Same geographical location.
Yeah.
But you can't put a pirate from Captain Blood next to a pirate from Cutthroat Island. People will say those two don't belong together.
Right.
There's always a different way of presenting the same thing.
Sure.
So I think everybody has their place, but for my new troupe, I just wanted to have something where we all looked good together.
Certainly. And as a branding action, you would want that. You want that cohesiveness where everybody looks like they're supposed to be there together.
Cohesiveness of appearance.
Yeah.
So people could differentiate us from the other groups.
Right.
They say, those guys belong together. And I like all the other groups. I'm not dissing anybody. And I did groups like that my whole life where we all made our own costumes because generally it's a necessity.
Sure.
But in this case, I had the chance to have a really good costume maker do all of the wardrobes, and then just fill them with the right people. And I said, I'm not going to pass up this chance because I don't think anybody else has ever had this chance to really put together a group that looks good together.
Yeah. And so the name of the group is Imagine Pirates at imaginepirates.com. And what does your vision look like for the group? What's the project?
Right now we're auditioning musicians, so we're looking for a fiddle player, and we're talking to a guy who's a comedian like you, as well as a musician. And I'm thinking I could bring something lively to the to the show, but it doesn't play fiddle though. So I'm thinking, but I want a fiddle, but I can have two musicians. I'll see how big we can go with this. And of course, whenever we get the chance, we're gonna drag the press gang, the Pirates Charles, to come in and
there you go,
and do something, because they're all characters, man. They're all great. And I think the funnest time I've had as a pirate is just rehearsing for the cruise with Pirates Charles and coming up with all this new crap. When I'd say I need a song, and then Deedle came up with that song, just pulled it out of his arse. And I said, well, that's the greatest thing. And then when we had to stop rehearsals because we couldn't stop laughing for like an hour at that song, and he just came up with that on the spot. And
sometimes those are the best ones.
Yeah, and him and Tor were having a duel with like flute versus fiddle. So her soundtrack was the flute, and mine was fiddle, and they went on like, it was just so much fun. And they had there was an argument between two of the performers, Crimson Bastard and my friend Blue, who plays Cassandra. And they were talking. She said, I'll pee on you. And then they were going on like that. And I said, wait, I can use that. And so I took a couple of the insults. I added one of my own, and I made them into a script. So at some point, I'm going to kill Cassandra in the show. And she's like, no, Mr. Crow, didn't last night mean anything to you? That was you. And she said, did I mention I don't have a gag reflex? Everybody's mentioned that. And then she says, I'm willing to pee on you. And I just freeze. I'm like, really? And then another chick stands up. She's like, well, I wish I'd known that last night. And the whole crew looks at her. They're silent. And she's like, I'm not ashamed. Pirate pride, bitches. And she spits and grabs her crutch. And that all just came from the inspiration you get hanging out with Pirates Charles, and just people.
Certainly, yeah.
People bantering in rehearsal. So I'll come in with the skeleton script, and I will do it like a table reading, basically.
Okay.
And everyone will throw in their crap, and then I'll go home and I'll rewrite it and print out 12 more copies.
Right.
And then I'll come back and we'll go through it again, and then we'll start doing blocking and stuff. But then inevitably people keep coming up with better stuff.
Sure.
So I'll keep changing it every single week until the crew mutinies on me and says, we can't take any more changes. We can't remember this. And then I'll finally have to stop. That's what the blog is about. PirateEnvy.com is basically the history of the cruises and the pirate theater in general. And that's my new column in Mutiny Magazine too. So I kind of took a hiatus from writing Wench Whisperer column so that I could work on the book. And then now I'm doing a pirate theater column. So I'm basically, it's, cautionary memoirs on the perils of pirate theater.
Okay. I mean, pirate theater as a thing is such a small niche that what kind of the cross-pollination with bands and things like that seems like it would bring in people, because I think if you just went out and advertised, we're doing a pirate show, people wouldn't quite know what to make of it. Is that what you've encountered? Do you need that cross-pollination with the bands and things like that?
I think like 20 years ago when I started, people just didn't understand. I would say, like, I'm going to charter a ship. I'm going to charge people this much money to come on the ship, but they have to dress like pirates.
Right.
Every single person has to dress like a pirate. And they're like, people would like, you're going to make them dress up and charge them money for it? Nobody's going to go on that. But there were just enough people to pull that off. And now there's, if I could fit 500 people on the ship, I would still sell out those cruises today. But back in the old days, people didn't comprehend. But those that did, those those free thinkers would like, that sounds fantastic, and jump on it. And there was, I'd say 1 out of 5 people would immediately think it was the greatest thing in the world. and about 3 out of 5 people would, you're crazy, that's just dumb, and try
Yeah.
to shoot you down.
Right.
Try to shoot you down. But yeah, no, you know, Oberon had to take that, and he started in the 80s with
Yeah.
his Brethren of the Coast, and he was just that crazy pirate guy, you know.
Uh-huh.
He had to take, it was like the first hippies growing their hair long, you know, how they got their asses kicked and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here, a couple of long-haired dudes who
Yeah.
we haven't even been harassed by the police in like 2 hours. So, you know, the culture catches up with you.
Certainly,
when you
yeah,
start. And
yeah.
the culture, I think, is caught up with pirates now.
Interesting. Yeah. It'll be interesting. So is there a first performance for this group lined up already, or are you still in the rehearsal
Well,
building
we
stages?
interrupted rehearsals, and we weren't really ready, but we did Shoreline Village. That
Okay.
was like a few weeks ago. And I thought this is a real trial by fire because we, as the group kept going through personnel changes over the years we were forming it,
Mm-hmm.
and then my main partner, Jim, the costumer, he had to leave town to deal with a hurricane in Texas and those
yeah.
things. And he just left me with, and the other people feel the same way. Like we were all left with these other people that knew Jim but didn't know each other.
Okay.
So I'm here with four of us, the core group,
Uh-huh.
and we're pretty much, we've met over the years for a photo shoot here and there as we were putting the look together, but we
Okay.
haven't really worked together before Shoreline.
Uh-huh.
So we went there, and we hadn't even started rehearsing really. I had been rehearsing with one girl, and then she wasn't able to do that, so I had a big sword double cutlass duel with a chick, which is really hot.
Yeah.
And couldn't do it, so like I had to start with 3 weeks of rehearsal time by the time we finally picked up swords and got together. And we pulled it off, I think. I mean, we had some trouble at first, and then, but now like once you get over that first inhibition of the first doing it for the public,
Yeah.
you get a confidence and you just
Sure.
run with it. It's like you can do something in the privacy of rehearsal
Uh-huh.
because your mind's focused on it. But then when you have a crowd around you, your mind is thinking about them, and that's like
Way different game.
70% of your mind is now thinking about something else. So you only have 30% left
Right.
to think about what you did in rehearsal.
Yeah.
Whereas in rehearsal, you had 100% of your brain.
Yep.
And I tried to convey that to people. That's what happens in a sword fight, man.
Right.
And some of them understood. I don't know if everybody did, but after about halfway through the first day, like, oh, okay, we get it now.
Uh-huh.
And things started rolling, but it was as expected, a hard start. So we're doing a gig next weekend,
Uh-huh.
and then we have another one later in the month, and we're going to be a badass troupe.
It sounds
by
like
next
it.
year, and we're doing the Long Beach Pirate Invasion,
Nice.
which is going to be the biggest gathering of pirates on the West Coast ever.
Yeah, I hear that's
Ever.
a good one.
And so come down for that.
I would. Yeah, it's on my calendar.
Do
Yeah.
a podcast from that. That'd be kind of badass.
Yes, I should
Because
plan
every
for that. Yeah.
bright light of the pirate world is going to be there.
Yeah. that one's going on the
You
calendar
could like
for
multiple
next year. Yeah.
interviews. You get a dozen shows out of that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably.
So yeah, we're gonna be there, and we're gonna have all our crap together. So we're doing little gigs here and there.
Sounds
now,
exciting.
Getting our sea legs, basically our stage legs.
Yeah, I mean, because we always said in my band, that one gig was worth 3 rehearsals, just because of
Yes,
that
yes.
mental division that has to take place. Where, like you said, you're so worried about what the audience is doing that you have to. You only have a little bit left of concentration to keep track of what you're doing. So it's very tricky.
And I was just saying that today, like we kept doing these photo shoots. Like we went to this beach and did this. This is at the Planet of the Apes beach where Charlton Heston saw the Statue of Liberty.
Uh-huh.
But we would keep doing these photo shoots, and we have a really colorful upscale look too that all it has the same cohesiveness. So our costumer wanted to do another photo shoot. I'm like, no, we need to do gigs because one gig is worth 10 photo shoots because
Totally, yes.
hundreds of people take your picture, and you've
Yeah.
got a lot of different styles and things to choose from.
Sure.
You get a bunch of different looks. And sure enough, we did Shoreline, and it was as good as doing 10 photo shoots.
Easily, yeah, definitely. So where's the best place online for people to keep track of what you guys are doing and where they can see you and all that?
Let's see. To keep track of me on the blog is pirateenvy.com.
Okay.
And I just kind of chronicle what I'm doing piratically and give memoirs of the theater. Wench Whisperer is sporadically updated while I'm working on the book, but that's wenchwhisperer.com.
Okay.
And imaginepirates.com is for the troupe, and that'll announce our appearances. And let's see, mutinymagazine.com. You can read, can read everybody, including the elusive Talderoy, who will not be interviewed.
The elusive Talderoy. Yeah. Well, cool, man. That sounds really exciting. I can't wait to see a show. I think it's going to be really fun.
Cool, thanks.
Well, this was really fun. I appreciate you taking the time out to do it today.
Sure, man. Sure. It was fun. Thanks.
And there it is, friends. That is my interview with Bullet Valmont of the Wench Whisperer and Imagine Pirates. If you want to find out more about what he's up to, you can go to wenchwhisperer.com and imaginepirates.com to see all the stuff that he is up to. I'm also going to see if I can find that clip from The Mask that he was talking about with the balloon animals, the part that he's in. I'm going to see if I can find that and on YouTube or something. It must be there. Everything's on YouTube. And I'll see if I can put that in the show notes as well. Speaking of, show notes for this episode are at underthecrossbones.com/120. For any of the episodes, just put the episode name after the URL, and that will bring it up. So this is underthecrossbones.com/120. Of course, we are sponsored today by Pirate Radio The Treasure Coast, WKKC-DB, playing the best music and pirate radio talk. You can listen to Under the Crossbones on both those stations. Just go to pirateradiooftheTreasureCoast.com or pirateradiotc.com. And don't forget to download their apps. They got the Pirate Radio Treasure Coast app, which is the music station, and the Pirate Radio Talk app, which is the talk station. And they're playing our new episodes 5 times a week or so, split across those two stations, and reruns throughout the day and all that kind of good stuff. So if you're listening over on Pirate Radio The Treasure Coast, thank you very much. Be sure to come and join the crew over at the Facebook page, and if you want to subscribe to the podcast and get them even faster, all that kind of good stuff. So that's Pirate Radio of the Treasure Coast. Got an ebook for you. It's Alexander Exquemelin's Pirates of Panama, Buccaneers of America, whichever title you prefer. This is a book that originally came out in 1678 and is a contemporary account of Alexander Exquemelin's adventures and exploits among the pirates. He was a doctor, ended up on pirate ships, wrote about it. So you can read it. I've got a nice little ebook version of it for you. Just go to underthecrossbones.com, click on the free ebook link, and you can get it right there. Or if you're out and about, and all you have is your phone with you, just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. That will kick you back a little link, and you can have it right there. If you would like to get in touch with me, tell me about any of your adventures out with the pirate festivals. You maybe saw a pirate band that was cool, or you went to a cool pirate tourist destination that was cool, and you would like to tell me about it. I'm happy to play it on the show. Give me a call at 408-599-2733. That's my Google Voice number. I don't pick it up, so you can just leave a voicemail there. Don't worry about waking me in the middle of the night. You can call anytime. 408-599-2733. I want to go into like infomercial voice when I do that, like one of those like for-profit college voices. Yeah. 408-599-2733. I'm not going to give you a degree in medical billing or anything like that. That is our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I always appreciate you being here. If you want to find out more about my guest, Bullet Valmont, go to wenchwhisperer.com or imaginepirates.com. And you can see his advice column and check out what he's doing with the book and the performance crew and all that kind of stuff. And of course, if you want show notes, go to underthecrossbones.com/120. If you want to dig into this stuff I'm doing with music and comedy and tour dates and all that kind of stuff, you can go visit PhilJohnsonComedy.com. And we have got some amazing episodes coming up. Some super cool stuff. Next week, I'm bumping it up just for you. Next week, we're going to hear from Colin Woodard. Yes, Colin Woodard, author of The Republic of Pirates, man. It's a good talk. You're really going to dig it. We got Rusty Cutlass coming up. That's the pirate band that plays at Disney World. And that was some live interviews. That was really good. I just recorded Scarlett Deerheart from Deerheart's Doodads. Super nice lady doing some good stuff. We're going to hear from her in the next few weeks. Marcus Rediker. Yes, the author of Villains of All Nations. That is a deep, deep conversation on pirate history. So good stuff coming up. Make sure that you're subscribed. Keep on telling your friends and posting the info around for me. I always appreciate it. And I will see you next week.